All right, jumping right into this one, we are looking at account rename by account import. Now, this is a kind of highly requested feature. It doesn't cover like every use case with account renames and merges and all that stuff. But this is kind of one of the key changes to RPM that will really help our users deal with account changes over lifespans. So it still follows the same rules as the account imports. So you can't do things like change accounts between different suppliers or anything like that. Or if you went and renamed a supplier like from a while ago, like CenturyLink to Lumen, for example, you still can't combine those accounts. But what you can do with this feature, and I'll demo it in a bit here, is the ability to rename existing accounts in your single supplier or multiple suppliers, but it has to be rename that account in that one supplier to another account number or account name, however you want to call it. So this is useful for when suppliers change the account on you and you know it used to be this account number and it changed to this account number. In the current RPM, you would either have to change it manually by editing the account number and replacing it with the new one, or you allow the import to happen where you upload your commission items and the account would get created by your commission import. And then after the fact, you'd have to merge the accounts together, which is also tedious. You kind of have to do it one at a time, or yeah, or request an ops task from us to do it. So what this feature will let you do, and yeah, it's a little dangerous in the sense that since you're changing an account number, you're not really losing the history of the old account number because it adds it as an alias. But just be careful because you're mass changing a bunch of commissioning IDs, right? So just make sure that when you do this import and you change these account numbers, that you're very diligent in making sure that, hey, these are the account numbers I want to change. This is the account number I want to change it to. And just make sure to double check, measure twice, cut once, that kind of methodology, especially when it comes to commission items. So this feature is just a quick and easy change to our import matrix for the account import. So if I jump into my RPM here and I go to the top left menu and we go into accounts, and then we go into the more menu and we go into import. This import accounts blank template, you give that a download, you'll get something like this. And the only thing that changed, if you're really familiar with this, is this new column here that is labeled change account to. So what you would do is you would get your account numbers that you want to get changed. Ideally, you download an account list out of your RPM and then kind of throw it into here either by copy and pasting or by whatever method that you're more familiar with. You would get the exact customer name as it's in an RPM, the supplier name as you have it in RPM, and then the account number as you have it in RPM, right? Otherwise, the import's not going to work, or it's going to error out, or maybe you'll target the wrong account, which is even worse because then you just change the account number that you didn't mean to change. So yeah, just make sure to double check that your customer, your supplier, and your account number are correct. And then whatever you throw in here is going to be what the value gets changed into. So this account number will get changed to this once I do the import. And then you don't have to add it as an alias, so you don't have to go and throw like your old accounts in here. Once you change an account number from this to this, it's going to do it automatically for you. So you can leave this blank and not have to worry about that. So if I give this a save and I was to give it an import, so these account numbers, before I even do that, let's go and take a look at them. These account numbers are not, I hope this is the same account number. Yeah, it is. So this account number is still this. It doesn't have an A at the end of it yet. So if we just keep an eye on these Apple Butter Caravan accounts, then I do this import from my downloads here, and I give this an import. And I'll have to do an override. So notice if I leave intact, you won't get those options that show up and you won't get an update. That's because you're overwriting old account number data with a new name or a new number. So leave intact will do nothing. So make sure if you're planning on doing this to switch it to overwrite, and just the way of thinking about it is you're overwriting data. So make sure to check it overwrite, and then you'll notice this account number change option here. And you'll want to make sure to check create aliases for old numbers. Now you might have a use case where you don't want to create an alias. So maybe those old numbers, you don't want to relate them together at all for whatever reason. you can do not create an alias. The only warning I have there is related to history. So when you merge the account number, you'll still have history of the old account number, but it's just going to be buried inside of RPM's history page for the account. So you're not going to be able to like relate those two numbers together quickly or easily. Whereas if you keep it as an alias, anytime the old number is used, RPM is just going to automatically relate it to the new number. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. If you have a use case for do not create aliases, then absolutely feel free to use it. I'm not saying don't use it, but just make sure that you know what you're doing in terms of not creating those aliases. So yeah, so we do the import. It's going to overwrite those 3 account numbers that I have on my import sheet. It's going to change them for us. So we hit done. So now you'll notice my 3 Apple Butter Caravan account numbers all have an A at the end of it. And if I click into one of them, you'll have an alias here, right here. Your alias box might be all around the page, but you'll find the alias box eventually, and that's the old number in there. And if I was to go into the history here, you can see that, hey, this used to be the account number added as an alias. This is the account number now, and this was the account when it got created back in 2021. So yeah, so that is pretty much the feature. There is quite a few use cases for this, but mainly we want to allow our users to have the ability to quickly update any of those account changes that a supplier might be making related to account changes for whatever reason. Suppliers change their account numbers for, I'm sure, a whole bunch of reasons that I can't even list all of them. But yeah, since this is a pretty much not so much permanent, because you can always change them back with another import, but you just want to make sure that you're always double checking your data. And if you want us at RPM to help you and make sure that everything looks right as well, we're always available to do that. There may be a professional service fee included in it depending on how many accounts we're looking at, but yeah. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this feature. If you have any questions, concerns, or anything like that, please email us at support@rpmtelco.com. And again, thank you.